Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Zone YouTube channel. Welcome to our Matchday 1 review from the Euros there. I know it's a little bit late, but I thought I had some time to really digest everything what happened. I watched most of the games, so up to date with a lot of things. So I'll be running you through 5 themes or 5 storylines of things we learnt from the first match day. We're going through a team of the match day, so help us in our journey towards making a team of the tournament. And then also we're picking our goal of the match day and also our game of the match day, which are quite easy to pick this first match. I think I'd have to say that. But so much excitement. The Euros is living up to expectation. I think a lot of football fans said, I was starting to get really bored with how the football's being played at club level. The internationals have come and saved it basically, because this is being back and forth, proper high intensity Euros action. All the teams are competing for it. There's no one just sitting in and playing boring outside of England, basically. But outside of that, every team's gone for games, taking it to the opposition. We've had great comebacks, late winners, underdog stories. It's just been a complete success, I think, in many regards. Everyone's happy with the tournament so far, and I've absolutely loved it. Having 3 games of football every night to enjoy, and them all being very entertaining is a win for me, and absolutely love the tournament so far. We'll get straight into it, guys. So the 5 things we learnt from the first match day, and that's done number 1. I think it's a key theme because it's always talked about a fair bit. For me, England are far from favourites. I never had them as favourites, but the bookies had them as favourites. Everyone came into the tournament talking about England, and you come to that first game then, I sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier, every game's been very exciting. Every team has gone for it at some point in the game. England, though, far from that. I think they had a good 25, 30 minutes at the start of the game where they played a lot of possession, took the game to Serbia, were attacking consistently. But once that first goal in went for Bellingham at around the 13th, 16th minute mark there, after that, they slowly start to go back into their shell, go to that defensive structure, which we're used to with England. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not here trying to talk about coaching and how to get things right, because we do enough of that in the club season. But I think every team in this tournament's taken a different avenue. That's the ability to counter press, or the willingness to throw numbers forward, to attack, to entertain in many regards. It's been like a mutual agreement for every team. We're just going to entertain this tournament. I said a lot in the predictions, I expect them to sit in. I expect that team to sit in. They might absorb pressure. They might just counter attack only. But even these teams who are supposed to only counter-attack or don't have the quality to compete, they'll still take it to their opposition. I think the prime example is the kid I'm wearing here, Czechia, against Portugal. Nowhere near the quality, and they had only 25% possession. But every time they had the ball, there was a willingness to throw numbers forward, to attack, to really go at one of the best teams in world football. And it nearly showed. They nearly got a massive result versus one of the favourites in Portugal. England, despite winning the game versus Serbia, did not do enough for me to deserve that win. I think Serbia probably deserved to win in that game. I think we look at the squad, there's a lot of imbalance. You got Phil Foden playing at the left. I thought he could do that role, but we saw from the first game, he just doesn't have that ability to just go and switch out to the left. He's played a lot down the middle, at times on the right this year for Man City. He's not used to this left-hand flank, so you're missing him, one of the best players, probably the best player in the Premier League, out of position, right? So that's your first wrong move. Trent midfield, again, I'm not against it, but I can see where people come from where there's no balance in midfield. And when you've got Adam Wharton, Kobe Manu, especially Adam Wharton, it would fit to a T in midfield. I said it in the podcast, me and Flynn, who were sitting and talking about it. You get Adam Wharton, who's a real workhorse. I don't want to put him down to that sort of level, but he's sort of like a better version of Conor Gallagher, because Conor Gallagher came on for the energizer role, and I understand that. But Adam Wharton does that and does more. He's more technically skilled. He sees the pass. He can drive into spaces, breaks the game up very, very well, and for his young age can match the physicality and the pace of the game really, really well. If you pair him up with Declan Rice, who we saw him flourish once Thomas Partey coming back from Arsenal, it allows Rice to not only do his great work defensively and show his passing rate, but allows him to push on and score goals in midfield, which you saw him do a lot for Arsenal this season as well. I think Declan Rice, I said it all throughout the Premier League season, once Partey came back, we'd start to see the full package, and we did start to see that for Arsenal. This guy's not just a number 6. He's a number 8 with the ability to go and score goals and to push on into midfield and to show his full range of passing and full range of ability in front of goal. He is a technically elite level player, and you need to show that. And if you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold next to him, yes, you see the best of Trent going forward, but because he's out of position a lot, doesn't really understand the central midfield role, takes too long on the ball, and doesn't have that ability to look and swivel his head as quick as the likes of a normal midfielder does, it puts more pressure on Declan Rice to sit in and play a bit deeper. I still think Trent can work in midfield, but he'd have to work with a flat midfield 3, because when you've just got those two sitting in, Trent I think can defend okay, but his ability on the ball and to be a midfielder on the ball is not quite the same at fullback. I said at the podcast, his head's not on a swivel quick enough as the likes of Wharton, Declan Rice and Kobe Manu are in tight areas to dribble out of those spots. He hasn't got the same ability that Adam Wharton have and definitely what Declan Rice has. And I think for me, it's his slow build on the ball. Like, it's fine at fullback to take a few touches to find your pass or drive into a space. But in the centre of midfield, you've often got 1 or even half a second, especially against Serbia. You had about half a second because they were pressing you hard. You've got to know where the ball's coming in from and where you're going to go to, or how you're going to dribble out of the situation. And I just don't think he has that full package yet to be a central midfielder. Yes, there's a possibility, but the fact he's playing out of position from his club position says a lot. He's a bit out of his depth, and I feel like he has to just be a right back for me. And that's the problem. You bring so many right backs and not bring a Chilwell or a Tarek Mitchell to fill out left back. You got Trian Trippier then playing left back. It just offsets the whole team. So right now you've got a left wing problem. I think Anthony Gordon can fill that role in quite easily. Where do you put Phil Foden? It's up to you. I like Jude Bellingham at the 10, and I'd like an Adam Wharton alongside Declan Rice in midfield to add that solidity, add that control in midfield, and the ability for versatility. All three of them can switch into different roles. We saw Aston Villa do that so well this season. And then for me at left back, it's a mistake bringing only one left back in Luke Shaw, but I think Kieran Trippier has to stay there for at least one more game and then allow Luke Shaw to be fit. But then comes down to selection once again. Why are you selecting Luke Shaw is only available for one group game and the rest are knockouts? What if you really need to win that last knockout game and he's underdone? You know, I'm fine with them getting through the tournament doing this scrappy style of football, but it just seems so obvious. They come into them as a favourite and they're now in the tournament, the only team that hasn't entertained. It's quite simply that. And I'm not here trying to say you have to play entertaining football to win games of football. They're going to win games because they've got quality. But the fact you're relying on one individual moment from Jude Bellingham to win a game versus Serbia, who, yes, they're a very good side, yes, they're a very physical side, but you're supposed to be England coming this tournament as favourites. It says a lot about where the team is. The state of the team is not quite there. So a bit of worry there. Harry Kane was missing because he didn't have much supply. Phil Foden out of position. Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice were probably players of the game. Mark Gahey as well was really, really impressive alongside Jude Bellingham. But outside of that, a lot of passengers, a lot of poor performances. So how can you bounce back from there? That's the question I have. And for me, the major talking point is them, for me, being nowhere near favourites. I think the Netherlands, France, Portugal, despite all having poor performances, looking in a better position in terms of their play style, their players and their performances than in England at the moment. All right, second point, and I sort of touched on it earlier in my first point there, the pace of the game right now is very, very high. It's exciting. It's back and forth. I'm recording this obviously just after the first day of second match day games have gone out, and even those games there's a high intensity, there's a back and forth type basketball affair, and I think a few people on Twitter have said that it feels like a basketball game at times. You know, the first 10 minutes of this team, second 10 minutes, that team has momentum. Who takes their chances when they're in control of games? I say it a lot on the live streams I've been doing. When you have those sort of 10 to 15 minute spells where you're on top, you're creating all the pressure, you're creating all the chances, you've got to find the ability to score, because we see Poland, prime example, they took their chance and the Netherlands have to come from behind. Yes, the Netherlands got in front and won the game, but the Polish took advantage of their little spell when they're on top of games and won that game and was up in that game eventually. You look at Croatia and Spain. Croatia weren't poor at all, but they didn't have that clinical edge in the final third when they were on top of Spain to score. As such, Spain come and dominate that game 3-0. And the thing can go on and on and on. Portugal, again, another example of they were really, really good, but then they were down 1-0 because they didn't take their chances. Czechia were on top and took a miraculous comeback to get a victory in that game there. You look at Spain, Austria. Austria probably deserved at least a point in that game, but they couldn't take their chances in front of goal when they had the momentum. But that's what it sort of feels like. It's back and forth and back and forth. Almost like tennis, a bit like basketball. You go, you go, you go. And it creates for a really entertaining game. We've seen some of the best games I've seen this year in football. I'm comparing to some of the great Champions League games we've had this season, some of the great Premier League and Bundesliga games we've had this season. These are sort of topping it, and I'm loving it, because normally we come into international, we think, oh, very, very slow, pragmatic football. A lot of teams play with 5 backs. Now it's 5 defenders, but 2 of them are wing backs. So they push on. There's only 3 centre backs staying back. They're going to entertain. You're going to have spells where teams are just up and forward, up, back and forth. And I think the general consensus is after sort of 55, 60 minutes, it's free for all. Shapes start, messing about. People start throwing too many numbers forward, overcompensating. There's chance at both ends. It's chaos, but I love it. And obviously, as we get deeper, it become more defensive and more structured. But in these early stages here, it is excitement galore, and there's chances galore. So I'm absolutely loving the pace of the game, because I associate European tournaments and international tournaments with slow, pragmatic football. It's all based around structures and shapes. In this tournament here, it's been about who can take their moments, high pace, high intensity, midfield, chaos, and chances galore. And that's what we're loving. And that's why it's been for me. Like I said to my group chat, and I don't know if this sounds a bit biased, but I guess I got into football early early 2010s, right? So 2012, 2013. My first tournament experience was the 2014 World Cup. I still, to this day, think that was the best tournament I've watched. This right now is topping it because the entertainment, the spectacle, the crowds, the performance on the pitch, the players that are standing out, it's just fantastic to watch. It's never a bad game. Yeah, everyone was joking about it on Twitter and Instagram about if you missed the Turkey-Georgia game, you're not a real football fan because, there's no matter what team played, no matter what stigma they come with, it's always going to be entertaining. So that's just the second point. I'm going a bit of a tangent there, but I absolutely love the pace of the game so far at the Euros. The third point, and a big one I came into the tournament with, I predicted with, and I'm staying with it, youngsters are going to be the keys for victory. I can list off a few names here. Yamal for Spain, Musiala and Wirtz for Germany, Zalewski for Poland, Arda Güler for Turkey, Bellingham for England, Conceição winning it for Portugal, Calafiori for Italy, Aslani for Albania as well. So many players, all under the age of 23, all fantastic. We haven't seen their best of Xavi Simons yet, from Pedri yet. The list could go on and on and on. I said it coming into about a few months ago, this tournament we'll see a few players make names for themselves and the young stars will dominate. It feels like we're in a bit of a transitional period. Yes, we still have Ronaldo. Yes, we still have, I guess, Pepe as well. And we have the Carvajal's there. But there's no more the Ramoses. Modric is not as making that big impact anymore. Lewandowski being out in the first few games. Those established names and stars are not quite the same anymore. Olivier Giroud's last tournament, he isn't starting. It's just a new generation. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm here for it because some of the names I'm thinking of here, Arda Güler, one of my favourite players right now in world football, alongside Vinicius Jr., Conceição created one of the best moments so far. This one I absolutely was hooked in the edge of my seat in that game there. Calafiori, another Bologna player, my basically second club in many regards in Bologna. Love what he's doing. Aslani for me for Albania. I talked about him in the preview prediction video. He's been fantastic as well. And you can't not like Musiala and Wirtz at the moment. These guys are killing it. So it's just a likeable group and crop of young players, and they're showing it. And I feel like on every given night, the young players could win a game for their country, which makes it even more entertaining in many regards. So that's the thing I think will continue throughout the whole tournament. And whoever's young stars perform the best, likely go deep in this tournament for me. I think the experienced heads are always going to be there, always going to carry sides, but it feels like this tournament's all surrounded about that young star and what they can do on the pitch. The fourth thing I learnt, Germany appear to be favourites. I think out of all the results, Spain were very, very good. Portugal and France and the Dutch, I've always said that they were strong. They got decent results, which I liked, but it wasn't nowhere near what the Spanish and what the Germans did. But the fact that Germany put 5 past Scotland the first day there, Scotland were not great. The Porteous red card didn't help either, but the fact they still put 5 past them limited Scotland's chances as well, despite how robust and defensively and compact they were. Got to show the quality of their side. I said it in the prediction for Matchday 2 as well. The balance in the likes of Robert Andrich and Toni Kroos in that sort of deeper role, when you've got the likes of Musiala and Wirtz in those sort of wide creation roles, but you've basically got 4 of the best midfielders in the world, all playing together in different types of positions. And what I love is Kai Havertz and the unselfish role he plays. He's playing the number 9. Is his primary position? Definitely not. But he's worked his craft, and I think it's helped him this year at Arsenal where he's played all over the park because he knows how to play that number 9 role well for the side. He'll have to drop in to open up spaces for Wirtz and Musiala to cut in and create space and channels for them to run into. He will play up top as a hold-up man if they need him to play that hold-up role, and he links the game up so well with Musiala and Wirtz. And I feel my mates have said, but Wirtz hasn't really performed for Germany in the build-up. We found the performance in Matchday 1 and was fantastic, and I think what for me it is Jonathan Tah, Rudiger at the back. They complement each other well. Yes, they're not that quick, but Rudiger's got the pace. Tah's got the ball playing ability. You've got Maximilian Mittelstadt at left back, who I've been talking about for ages on end now from Stuttgart. He's been fantastic at left back and showed that in Matchday 1 versus Scotland, up and down the fullback position, creating chances galore. Joshua Kimmich, an all-time great player at right back as well. The control you have from that position there. Manuel Neuer in goal behind you. Toni Kroos and Robert Andrich in the centre midfield. Pascal Gross comes on at half-time and dictates the game. Then I said the front 3 for them. Whatever you want to say. Ilkay Gundogan behind a front 3 of Musiala, Wirtz and Havertz. How can you stop that? There's just midfield creativity all over the park. Wirtz and Musiala, yes, they're number 10s naturally, but they're playing out left and right and doing a great job. And I feel like if they can continue to perform in those wide positions, obviously those midfield trio in there, and Gundogan, Kroos and Andrich, it's got every part of the game sorted. It's got defensive structure, it's got solidity, it's also got creativity and midfield dominance, it's also got control. It's got everything. Every player fills in a different gap which Germany need. And with Kai Havertz performed the way he did in match day one, there's not many teams that can stop this German side. I think, and on home soil as well, I think for me, they are right now in position 1A to win this tournament, which is very, very exciting to see. Because we haven't seen a good German team now in a while, is what it feels like. And finally, the final thing I learned from match day one was midfield quality and control is very, very important to winning games of football. The Spanish side, Fabian Ruiz, Rodri, Pedri, fantastic in that game, controlling the midfield balance, winning the massive moments, creating for midfield, but also covering off and locking off the great Croatian midfield in Brozovic, Kovacic, and Luka Modric as well. That Turkey midfield, really, really robust, worked very, very hard up and down the pitch to not only deny Georgia chances, but also get their side going forward and create a lot of chances. That game was full of back and forth type affair, but it was created from that midfield work rate of the Turkey players and just a plethora of options they had going forward and also covering off defensively. Talk about N'Golo Kante and Adrien Rabiot for France and the work they did to deny Austria a lot of chance in that game and the ability they had to control the ball and find the pass and to get France going forward quickly on the transition. We know how much Mbappe, Dembele, Griezmann, Colomboani and Thuram love the counter-attack, and that's what France did in that game versus Austria. They gave up possession and said, we're going to counter-attack you, and you saw the midfield ability of France to sit in with N'Golo Kante and Adrien Rabiot and then win the ball back and then spring the counter-attack. It worked to a T for them. And then for me, the biggest one was Italy. Barella, Fratesi, and Jorginho. Jorginho, one of the great performances out of match day one. His control midfield with so many touches. I think he had 115 touches of the football, dictated the game from there. You look at Jorginho and looks at Barella. And Barella, for me, was someone I think would make his name here during the Euros. I said on the podcast about 3 or 4 months ago, I think this Euros will be the time that everyone understands what Barella's all about. Yes, he works fantastically well with Inter. They don't get talked about enough, though. Barella right now is one of the great midfielders in the world in terms of his two-way running, can cover off defensively, but when he gets the ball at his feet, passing array, okay, I'll probably say a 7 out of 10, but his ability to drive into spaces, be physical, open the game up with his, when he has to put his head down and to open up spaces by running into positions, making available for other midfielders to push on or create for wide players. That's what he does his best. I think that Italian midfield, no wonder they're playing with more possession than the opposition. That Italian midfield is their strength, and I think that'll be a key factor to them to go and win the tournament if they go all the ways. That midfield performing at a high level. Right now, Jorginho, Barella are competing with Toni Kroos, Robert Andrich and Ilkay Gundogan. That just shows the quality that's in that Italian midfield there, because I think in many regards, people think that German midfield is the next level. Also got Coutinho as well for Portugal, continues his performances from what we saw at the PSG knockout stage in the Champions League. So there's midfielders everywhere around the competition that's dominating, and that's just the theme for me. Midfield dominance is so key to winning games of football so far in this Euros, and it's absolutely showed throughout, because in my team of the match day, there's a lot of midfielders I had to try and cram in the end. So there's my 5 points. Just wrapping over them one more time. England are far from favourites. The pace of the game, the energy of the games, very, very high. It's made it very entertaining type watch. Youngsters are leading the way for every different nation at the moment. Germany appear to be favourites for me at the moment, and midfield quality are winning games of football so far in the Euros. There's my 5 things I've learnt from match day one. Coming to the team of the match day, and this was very hard to put together, but I've managed to make it. I went with my classic 4-2-2-2 type formation. Starting in goal, for me, pretty easy. Unai Simon, 8.6 match rating, 5 saves versus Croatia, denied the 2.4 goals, kept a clean sheet, made the penalty save, 3 saves inside the box, and 6 out of 18 accurate long balls. Did a bit of everything for Spain, and obviously making that save from the penalty. His safety in net, especially early on when Croatia had a few chances to go at 1-0, made some massive saves there as well. Commands the goal and probably looks like one of the best goalkeepers in this tournament, alongside Mike Mignon. I think for me are probably the 2 best going around at the current point in time. But he just established himself once again as one of the great international keepers on the current stage, because doesn't get talked about enough for the job he does in La Liga. So does it for his national side and getting the props he rightly deserves. Fantastic game for him. At left, I got Nathan Ake, fantastic versus Poland, created both goals. Only managed to get the 1 assist for some reason though. 8.1 match rating, 4 clearances, a tackle, a last man tackle. Did not lose a single duel in the game. 76 touches of the ball, 94% pass accuracy, and 4 key passes. That was just a pep type Ake performance. Played at left back this time around. Really, really good going forward. I said created the assist for the winner for Weghorst, but also was inadvertently involved in that Cody Gakpo opener as well. Through this game, always looked really comfortable in the ball. I said the Netherlands like to sort of play a bit of a slower pace, but like to have a lot of possession and try and lull their team into a bit of a false sense of security. And I think Nathan Ake alongside Stefan de Vrij and Virgil van Dijk operate really, really well at the back there in terms of controlling possession and controlling momentum and control of games. So I think really, really important performance from him. The attacking output was just so underrated as well. His ability to throw himself forward to create from that left-back position. Not a natural left-back, but doing it from out there says a lot about his play style and was fantastic. And probably one of the few City players that actually performed without playing under Pep Guardiola in this opening match day there. The two centre-backs are gone with Ricardo Calafori. Another great game versus Albania. Sort of jumped into the bandwagon a little bit there. 3 interceptions, 1 tackle, was not dribbled past once, won every aerial duel, 117 touches with 93% pass accuracy, was fundamental to this new possession, playing at the back style of football that Italy are implementing in this Euros, and did a fantastic job of that as well, and gave off those early 2000 type aura with the headband as well, so I love that. And he paired up with Radi Dragosin. He was very, very impressive versus Ukraine. 7.6 match rating, 10 clearances, 2 block shots, 1 interception, did not lose any aerial or ground duel, 33 touches of the ball with 89% pass accuracy. Goes to show you what Tottenham are missing. I was pretty harsh on him come the end of the season. I thought he wasn't playing much football, and when he did, wasn't very convincing, but this is the Radi Dragosin they signed across from the Serie A. Great closing speed, very physical, comfortable enough with the ball at his feet, but they had to do a lot of defending Romania versus a Ukraine side that wants to attack through numbers forward, had a lot of possession, but he was in the way of every single pass, broke up the play whenever they needed to, did not lose anything that went anywhere near him, and made it a very hard day for Dovbyk, Zegankov, and also Mikhailo Mudryk as well. So fantastic from both the centre halves there. Coming to the right back, it's called Dani Carvajal in his first ever European Championships appearance, was fantastic versus Croatia. 7.8 match rating, got that goal from the header just before half time. 2 clearances, 1 block, an interception, 2 tackles, won 3 out of 4 of his ground duels, 6-7 touches of the ball with 92% pass accuracy. Filled up the stats, did it all for me. Just a classic Dani Carvajal type performance, sort of being used to the Champions League, especially considering how important he's been in the knockout stages for Real, and just continue to carry on once again. I feel like he'll be one of those really important figures for Spain if they're going to go deep. Bit of an experienced head, knows how to win these types of tournaments and knockout stages. And I think not only is he good defensively, but he's got that real attacking spark to his game, which separates him from the rest, because some fullbacks at the moment are just all attacking orientated and okay defensively. He's someone that's super, super good defensively, but has an elite level attacking output as well, and can find the back of the net from set pieces as well. So that's where he separates himself from the rest. And another fantastic performance in another big game for Dani Carvajal. Coming to midfield now, start off with Vitinha versus Czechia. Fantastic. 113 touches, 95% pass accuracy, 2 key passes, 4 out of 6 accurate long balls, 6 out of 7 ground duels, 1 block and 1 interception with the 2 tackles. Covered every blade of grass of Portugal. Was head and shoulders the best player in that game by a long way. Controlled the game for all 90 minutes or 80 odd when he was on the pitch for Portugal, with their most passes recorded for European Championship game up to half-time. He was pivotal to that. He was involved in everything that happened for Portugal. Him, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, all in tight areas, passing each other, linking the game up, keeping the ball off the Czechia side, and did an equally good job covering off defensively. Really gave me that PSG type vibe where I was talking a lot about him in the knockout stages for the Champions League in terms of his two-way running and his ability going forward. He's a real attacking threat going forward. But with likes of Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva in midfield, he sort of role becomes more of a number 6 primarily, then a bit of a number 8. Covers off really well defensively. It's really comfortable with the ball at his feet, can spread the play, and with a 5 back behind him, it allows him to be a bit more aggressive in his passing and a bit more aggressive in his driving into dangerous areas. So fantastic performance from Vitinha. Another central midfielder is Fabian Ruiz. Good man of the match for Croatia. 8.9 match rating, 1 goal, 1 assist, 91% accuracy with his passes, 2 out of 3 successful dribbles, 4 to 5 ground duels, 1. Probably one of the greatest assists I've seen this year. That ability to find that pass out of nothing, gets the ball directly off Rodri, basically a first-time pass to split apart the Croatian defence into the path of Alvaro Morata. Didn't have to break stride and found the back of the net. And his goal as well gave me that FIFA vibe where he dribbled in and out of about 4 or 5 defenders and lashed that ball home into the bottom right corner. A complete performance, probably the performance of Matchday 1 in terms of the all-round complete package. Did a bit of everything and didn't look like he was going to stop in that game as well. Really, really impressive on Fabian Ruiz, considering I did not think he should be starting for Spain. We come to the 2 number 10s now. Same with Jamal Musiala, the goal, 59 touches, 100% pass accuracy, 5 out of 8 successful dribbles, 9 out of 15 ground duels won. As I said, he stood out in Matchday, in the first match of Matchday 1 for Germany, the lead of that side, getting the early goal, always being vitally linking up with Florian Wirtz, and also Ilkay Gundogan playing a bit out of position out there in the flank, but doing a fantastic job at that. And I think he'll be very, very pivotal to Germany's progression. If he goes really, really well, Germany go very, very well. And I think we've seen that now. He's going to be that figure this time of the Euros. I think we'll look back Euros 2024 and think Jamal Musiala. That's the level I'm thinking he'll be performing at this Euros. Fantastic in the first match there versus Scotland and dominated them off the park. Every dribble he made, he almost was driving past every defender and taking the mick a bit with his passing interplay and also his dribbling past defenders. The other number 10, Jude Bellingham, 1 goal, 93 touches, 96% pass accuracy, 9 out of 15 ground duels won, was fouled 4 times, made 3 tackles, 1 interception, 2 clearances of his own, did everything. And because of Southgate flipping the switch halfway through, going from attacking football to defensive football, he was covering off really well defensively, got the really important goal and a fantastic goal, that putting his head when no one else would want to put their head, a diving header to score that first goal early in the game and give the England that really, really pivotal lead, which I'd hold on to the rest of the game. Just the aura of Jude Bellingham. It was just that type of game again. Carried over that Real Madrid form into a really average England side in many regards, and all props to him because it's going to be very hard to shine that England side, but he did a fantastic job doing that in such a boring game of football in many regards. And now coming to the 2 forwards, not strikers, forwards, because I've got Arda Güler on the right. His game versus Georgia was high quality. Maybe a bit of a soft spot because I love the guy. 1 goal, and that goal was elite. Probably, I'm going to ruin the segment coming up, but probably the best goal of Matchday 1. 60 touches of the ball, 93% pass accuracy. He made the 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, the 5 out of 10 ground duels won. For the stats, wasn't the greatest stat type game, but that goal changed the game in the 65th minute. An absolute worldie. His interplay not too bad as well, always an out ball, and it's that magic, it's that star boy energy from Arda Güler. And whenever he starts a game of football right now, he scores or assists because he did it for Real Madrid as well. Whenever Ancelotti would include him, make an impact. And I feel like he is one of the most talented players going around the world right now. And Real Madrid have to find a way to start him or get him implemented somehow next season, despite Endrick and also Kylian Mbappe coming across, because this guy is next level, and they're definitely going to need his help throughout the season next year. Fantastic performance in the first game against Georgia. There's a lot of pressure on the kid, first tournament, young kid. He's a lot of pressure on him as that Turkey star boy, but he's done that to a fantastic degree there and taken the first match day by the scruff of the neck. And the second forward is Cody Gakpo, who for me, in that Netherlands shirt, might be one of the best footballers of all time. Fantastic versus Poland. The 8.8 match rating, 1 goal, had 5 shots, 5 out of 5 successful dribbles, 95% pass accuracy, 3 key passes, 11 out of 13 ground duels won, 2 tackles and a clearance. Absolutely stacked the stat sheet up there. And I said it in the live stream, in the first half, he was the only real threat for Netherlands going forward. And a really slow start to the game in the Netherlands, but when the ball was at his feet, he would either find the pass or find the shot, create things, make things happen. Just the energizer for that Netherlands side. And it's just such a different Cody Gakpo to what we used at Liverpool. And I think when he gets that kid on, he gets that sort of freedom and confidence to go play his way of football. And he did it to a great degree there. And probably in terms of forward performances, the best for me, I think he was off the left, but basically was playing as a striker because the Memphis Depay was quite poor and continued to make the runs in behind. Would drop in to be available for the pass. As you saw by the dribble stats, dribble past anyone that was in front of him, got an important goal at an important time. And his all-round package, helping his team out, scoring for himself, and also the attacking and defending sides of his game being balanced out really, really well, gave me the vibe that he's here to make a really, really big impact this tournament. And again, really, really important for the Netherlands if they're going to go deep, considering all the injuries they've got in midfield areas. So he's the last forward. He's the last player of my team of match day 1. Recapping that one more time, we've got Unai Simon in goal, Nathan Ake at left back, Ricardo Calafori at centre half alongside Radi Dragusin, Danny Carvajal at right back. It's Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz in midfield with Jamal Musiala and Jude Bellingham ahead of them. And up top, my left forward is Cody Gakpo, my right forward is Arda Güler. Now to the final 2 points, and it comes in the same game. My goal of the match day is Arda Güler's 65th minute goal versus Georgia. Wow, what a hit. It was pure, it was powerful, it was cannoning into the top right-hand corner. The way he just cut in and backlifted and just struck that ball so well, flying to top left corner was just fantastic to watch, especially in the weather as well, how it was wet and an ugly affair at some point in time. That was just a piece of quality. That was a piece of elite level star boy activity from Arda Güler, and I think they might win goal of the tournament if nothing changed from here on in. knowing us that there'll be another 3 or 4 great goals in this match day too. And in the same game was my match of the match day 1, 3-1 at Turkey beating Georgia. Back and forth. Goalkeepers up in the 95th minute. Goals coming from the goalkeeper being out of the net. Massive saves, both ends of the pitch. Goal of the year type of contenders on both sides. It just, wow. This was, for football purists, the best game. It was back and forth. And as people said on Twitter, none of this rubbish of inverting fullbacks or having 3 at the back or 5 at the back or rotation on midfielders. It was just 2 teams going back and forth, going for the game, trying to win the game of football, and it was just entertaining from start to finish, especially considering at the Signal Iduna Park as well, in the weather it's creating one of those great games of football and lived up to all expectations in that game there. So that absolutely was the match of match day 1 for me. That, ladies and gents, brings the video to an end. Hope you enjoyed it. It is a bit of a longer one, but there's my wrap of match day 1. We've got our 5 things I learned. My team of match day 1 also chucking in there the goal of match day 1 and the game match day 1. Hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, we're well and truly now starting match day 2. Games flying by, 3 games a day. Absolutely loving the football at the moment. If you enjoyed the video, guys, please smash a like on it. Subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more content like this, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload our podcasts and videos here on the channel. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the upcoming football, and I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.